As we get to 4 o'clock, we start with Denver police arresting a suspect today in connection with a deadly shooting and crash in Denver last night.
And now police are trying to figure out why that shooting took place. Police got a call of shots fired last night about 9:30 at 17th and Williams. That's in Denver's Uptown neighborhood. The suspect, 22-year-old Michael Jackson, is accused of shooting and killing a rideshare driver. The driver crashed into a tree and a passenger in the car had minor injuries. The suspect also allegedly shot a licensed private security guard who stopped to help after hearing the gunshots and the crash. He's in the hospital in critical condition. Police arrested Jackson later at 13th and Broadway. He's facing charges for murder, attempted murder, and felony menacing. According to DPD, the shooting of the rideshare driver was random. A semi-crash has created a big mess on E470 and Pena Boulevard this afternoon. The crash around 2:30 closed the southbound lanes of E470. That closure is expected to last for a while. Northbound has reopened. We don't know exactly what happened. The people who run E470's Twitter X account say a semi crossed over the median and hit multiple cars. Police say one person went to the hospital. We don't know how that person's doing.
Faith leaders gathered around the family of a man who was shot and killed by a Denver police officer last month. They're calling on the department to change. Brandon Cole was holding a marker at the time when he moved towards an officer who said she thought he had a knife.
And while the family waits for the Denver DA to rule on whether that shooting was justified, faith leaders are calling for better training for officers and more non-police responders for crises. Here is 9 News reporter Steve Steger.
It took 46 seconds, 46 seconds for this man's life to be diminished back to dust.
What happened in those 46 seconds?
The 911 call for help to aid and to assist the family turned into a tragic loss of life.
The Denver District Attorney is still reviewing the police shooting of Brandon Cole from last month. DPD says they got a 911 call from a witness who told them Cole pushed his wife out of a wheelchair, that's her on the ground there, then started to assault his teenage son.
Listen to what I'm saying, Brandon.
It took 46 seconds from the moment police arrived for an officer to unsuccessfully tase him and another to shoot him in the chest. Police say they thought he had a knife in his hand. It was a marker.
This is a marker. This is a knife.
Yes, sir.
The size is different. The length is different. The colors are different. Regardless of what happened when Brandon Cole went to the car, this is a marker, and this is a knife.
So one officer saw no lethal threat and he was going to use a taser. Why did the other go for her gun?
Bobby DiCello is a civil rights attorney from Ohio representing the family.
She did not get dumped out of her wheelchair by him. There was no big fight. Let's eliminate that too.
DiCello declined to go into detail of evidence of that or other things he says are inaccurate about the police account of this story, saying he's saving that for trial.
There was a completely senseless use of force that was lethal. Period.
Faith leaders and advocates said incidents like this show police still have a long way to go with training.
God knows we have come too far in Colorado, made too many progressive stands to go backwards now.
Some argue cases like this ought to be taken out of the hands of police altogether.
46 seconds wasn't de-escalation. Calling someone's name when you are in uniform with a gun pointed at you is not de-escalation. So we need people from our communities who know how to handle and recognize the signs and symptoms of mental distress.
When we seek your help, you should show up with help and with other individuals who can address behavioral health and mental health issues.
The attorney for the family didn't say when a potential lawsuit could be filed in this case. We reached out to DPD for comment. We haven't heard back from them yet, though it wouldn't be unusual not to hear from them on a case like this that's still being looked at by the district attorney with a potential lawsuit in play. The DPD doesn't usually comment on potential litigation down the road.
As far as a timetable, though, for the DA's decision, do we have any idea when we might get that?
Not quite sure. This often takes a few months to kind of look into these cases, get hold of all the body camera, interview all the different parties involved in a case like this. So it could be a little while after that. And I would imagine after that is when we might see some potential litigation.
Well, as we saw today, there are many people following this story. Thank you, Steve.
Jury selection is expected to wrap up this afternoon for the trial of 2 Aurora police officers charged in the death of Elijah McLean. Opening statements are tentatively set for 9 a.m. tomorrow in Adams County District Court. Suspended officer Randy Rodima and former officer Jason Rosenblatt face charges of reckless manslaughter and second-degree assault. McLean was doing nothing wrong when Aurora police stopped him in August of 2019. He was walking along a street wearing a mask. They threw him to the ground, restrained him, and paramedics injected him with a sedative. McLean died 3 days later. The trial is set to last 4 weeks. A trial for the 3rd officer is set to start in mid-October, and the 2 paramedics who were charged are expected to go before a jury in late November.
Let's take a live look outside today. The clouds starting to move in over downtown Denver, but another warm day, a very nice mid-September day. Things are changing here and there, so we want to get to Kathy and get an idea of what's going on the rest of our day today. Hi, Kath.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great afternoon. It's a beautiful summer day. I mean, even with these little gusty thunder showers coming across, the weather is not severe. And actually, these clouds are cooling us off a little bit. We managed to get into the lower 80s today after a mostly sunny start. The only concern we have is that there's some virga. That means the high base of that storm, instead of producing the rain, it's dropping just a lot of wind and lightning that's coming out of the cloud down to the ground. It's been dry for the last few days, so kind of watching that. But we have seen some rain in areas like Fort Collins, couple of raindrops on the camera lens there, and also on the I-70 corridor. We have a series of weak little short waves crossing Colorado that are adding to kind of this afternoon cloud and rain mix that we're seeing. 81 in Denver today, down to 77 in Greeley with the cloud cover there. And the showers and storms are moving pretty quickly. The only area we're really watching that's of concern this afternoon is on the I-70 corridor up around Eagle, Aspen Vale, Glenwood Springs, and Carbondale. We do have a flash flood watch that's in effect till 8 o'clock, simply because we're seeing the storms move over the same areas and drop in a fair amount of rain. So watching for the potential for a bit of flooding and mudslide activity there. A brief shower in Castle Rock and Parker. We're dry in Denver, but still the chance of a rain shower yet tonight as these storms move through between now and about 8:30. A drier day coming up tomorrow with most of the activity north and west of the city. So heading into the evening, we'll drop out of the 80s into the 70s and 60s with a stray rain shower, a rumble of thunder, lightning certainly possible. And we're going to enjoy some warm weather for the last few days of summer. Heading into the first full weekend of fall, some changes, tracking a storm and some cooler weather. Will we see snow on the higher peaks and rain in Denver? I'll break down the weekend forecast. That's coming up.
Thanks, Kathy. A ski lodge in Breckenridge is getting praise from the EPA for its efforts to cut back on pollution. Breckenridge Grand Vacations is one of 4 honorees for a Regional Pollution Prevention Award. The EPA gave them the nod for improving snow melts at systems at one of their lodges. Instead of starting after the snow falls, the system activates before it hits the ground, cutting back natural gas usage by 14%. BGV says they could use other lodges and give it to the other lodges as well to do the same thing.
Definitely see other ski resorts and just other hospitality resorts looking to implement this as well. Even smaller entities like a residential home, like a lot of people out here have snow melt within their driveway or they have heat tape on their roof. There's a lot of opportunity here, and I think just helping people see the path forward would be really great for them.
And the new snowmelt system is active at least one of the 3 properties owned by BGV. Right now, their director of community impact says they do plan on implementing it at all of their lodges.
We are still talking about Saturday's Rocky Mountain Showdown and the aggressive turn the game took this weekend when Colorado State's Henry Blackburn hit Colorado's two-way star late, Travis Hunter. Hunter now out, having suffered a lacerated liver. The anger that followed has also become a big story. Blackburn and his family have started to receive death threats, started right after the game. His phone number and his address circulating on the internet. A police officer was even present today at the CSU football practice this morning. Meanwhile, today in Boulder, Coach Prime was trying to calm things down, saying that he condemns any threats towards anyone.
Henry Blackburn is a good player who played a phenomenal game. He made a tremendous hit on Travis on the sideline. You could call it dirty. You could call it he was just playing the game of football. But whatever it was, it does not constitute that he should be receiving death threats. At the end of the day, this is a game. I'm saddened if there's any of our fans that's on the other side of those threats. I would hope and pray not. So I forgive him. CU, our team forgive him. Travis he's forgiven him. Let's move on. But that kid does not deserve that.
All right,
Thank you. God bless. Make sure let's pray for that kid, man. That's absurd for people to be threatening him. I don't mind getting death threats. I get them every week. But a kid, it's not good.
Important words from Coach Prime, and hopefully that does set the tone. Travis Hunter has also said that he holds no ill will towards Henry Blackburn.
I know. It's just so upsetting when this kind of thing happens. We understand that people are hurt and upset over things that happen, but why would you ever do something like that? And I do agree with him. He's a kid. I mean, you know, say somebody's 22, 23, 24, you're still a kid. That's just wrong. And his family.
Yeah, there's no question about that, but we've seen it with sports fans before. When they see red, all of a sudden they lose all sense for at least a few minutes. And, you know, that's happened here. So hopefully this is heading towards the end of that.
Yeah, let's get the end of that out. We do know that there was a lot of hype, though, over the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Let's hope this helps both teams. The numbers staggering on television. ESPN reported 9.3 million people watched CU beat CSU, the 5th most watched college game on ESPN ever. And it wasn't just the game. College Game Day recorded 2.3 million viewers. They did have some pretty cool guests. Their best September show since 2010 and the 3rd best September episode ever. Let's say Colorado showed out.
The NFL announced 173 modern era nominees for next year's Hall of Fame class, and some former Broncos are on the list, one for the first time. That's receiver Brandon Marshall, who started his career with 4 seasons in Denver. That's where he set the NFL record that still stands for most receptions in a game. 9 other Broncos are also on the list as well. And former CSU standout Joey Porter is on the list also.